Hey, I'll never know how to start these, but anyway, ignore this hairdo. I'm trying to stretch my hair. Some people understand what I just meant by that, but yeah, I'm stretching my hair so I can take it out and fluff it out. Anyway, here's what we want to talk about today. I'm calling it in my head, to guru or not to guru. That is the question. And are you going, what do you mean by that? Hold on, I want to put on some lip gloss. Okay, so let's get started. I'm trying to figure out how to start this, but I'm going to get it out. So there's this in my head, of course. I was thinking about people on social media and this whole thing about being a guru. Beauty gurus, fashion gurus, relationship gurus, whatever the guru is. I wanted to really focus on like relationship and life gurus, lifestyle coaches, things like that, because I think that that's like beauty gurus is one thing, you put on makeup and everything, but when it comes down to the relationship gurus, I just want to have this whole conversation because it was in my head, because got to talking about Kevin Samuels, and there's a whole thing about Kevin Samuels, and if you don't know about him, I would suggest you look him up because he's quite the interesting little character. But let's just talk about the whole thing about gurus. And there's some other people that I've noticed who are now getting guru status. Here's the thing about this. Most of the time, these people have absolutely no training in what they're being a guru about, especially when it comes to relationships and life and everything. They're speaking from their own personal experiences or anything, and people are identifying with it, vibing with it. They see something in it, and then by doing that, then they start listening to this person, and then their audience grows, and they get the people who like agreeing with them, and then they become this guru. Now here's the issue that I have with that, is that why? Okay, because you like what they said, and it makes and it jibes with something that you think. Because let's be honest, most of the time these people are not learned people at all. They, like for instance, Kevin Samuels started out in fashion styling and perfume and fragrances, and now people are listening to him in reference to relationships, and it's based on he said some things that some people wanted to hear, men in particular, and made them, and it said, and they identified with it because this is something that they were thinking. And so by this person voicing it, it gave credence to what they said, and then more people heard it, and so then now it's more people say yes, you're right, because of course you never have this thought that no one else is having. Let's just be honest, there's always going to be somebody who has experienced something like you, who needs to hear something that you have to say. But the problem is that we are making these people these gurus, which means that we look at them for their expertise and their knowledge is based on opinion. Now, let me say this. From a marketing standpoint, real honestly, if you look it up, one of the things they will tell you is to call yourself a guru. From a marketing standpoint, calling yourself a guru is a great marketing tactic, because by saying that, you give this impression that you are a knowledge base, you are a subject matter expert, a SME, if we want to say it like that. And so by being that person, then people are going to, and it's all about creating an audience to make money off of. Let me be clear on that. It's about making money off of your audience. It's not necessarily about giving good information or really helping people. It's to create an audience that you can make money off of. Now, I know most of y'all don't want to hear this, but that's the truth of it. So I'm saying this because I need some of y'all to open your eyes. Listen, I talk all the time too, but I would never call myself a guru or never think of myself as one. I'm just relating some things that are in my head. If you identify with them, if you agree with them, that's fine. If you don't, I'm fine with that too. But this is not about me trying to push my personal agenda or my personal thoughts on you. And if I do talk about certain subjects, it's because I have been doing research on it and I have been looking into it for a very long time. It's not just some shit off the top of my head, y'all. The things that people are saying and becoming popular for is not based on anything like any schooling, anything that has any substance again underneath it. It's just about what they think based on how they have lived their life, what has worked for them, and them coming up with something to say about it. So often, here's the issue with becoming these gurus and guru status, because eventually the guru is going to find out to have feet of clay, which will then disappoint and hurt their audience so much that some of them will be incredibly devastated because they have been listening to every word you're saying and believing everything you're telling them. And then to find out that you are not all that you say you are, then that creates this incredible amount of disappointment, and people will turn on you like rabid dogs. Just the truth of it. So before you think of someone like that, before you get immersed in what they're talking about and just believe in every word they say, take a moment back and say, okay, I like their message, but they're not the only message in town. And not only that, but let's not become these stands that lose their mind and defend everything that someone says, even when the shit sounds ludicrous. And that's on every guru level, from beauty gurus to gaming gurus to relationship and life coaches, gurus, whatever they call themselves, whatever they're seen as they're being an expert in. Remember that most of them are just speaking from their point of view, their life. Most of us are listening to people talk about their life and things that they've done and how they've overcome. I could tell you how I overcome and say, just remember this, but I'm not giving you a blueprint. When folks start trying to give you a blueprint and tell you need to be doing this like this and this like this, that's a red flag to me, because now you think you know more than everybody. And what were you doing before then? Oh, you was talking about fragrance? Oh, you were putting on makeup, but now all of a sudden you are now this expert? No, ma'am. No. No, ma'am. No, sir. And so I need, if you're feeling that way, even if you're feeling that way about me, I need you to step back and say, you know what, Lou, she cool and everything, and I vibe with what she says, but not everything I got to agree with. And the funny thing about this is, like, for instance, I'm sitting here in front of this video, in front of my phone, filming. You see this part of my room. You don't see the floor that's messed up. You don't see the other things that I don't show. And I mean that, and I'm talking about the physical. But remember that what you see on camera is what we choose to show you. You don't see us every day. You don't see how many people are actual in real life. So therefore, what they could be telling you, how they could be telling you they act, how their life is, could be totally different than what it is in the reality of it. And I learned that when I was in my 20s, because this lady that I worked with, she was always talking, yeah, I got it like this, my husband like this, and he don't, and when I tell him, she was like big balling it at work. Well, one day I went over to visit and have, just come and hang out on a Saturday, hung out at her house. And then I found out what she really lived like. Her house wasn't as fabulous as she told me it was. It was a decent house, but it was in disrepair and it needs to be fixed. But she was fronting like, you know, they had this mini mansion. And the other thing was, honey, her husband was running that house, and she was, and I ain't had no problem with it, but it was just the vibe, what she told us at work, and this vibe, you know, she was this, and her husband, you know, when she wants something, her husband jumps to it. When the reality was, it was totally reversed. When he was like, you know, the king of his castle, and I ain't mad at him for being the king, but but listening to her at work, I had a totally different vibe of hers until I saw her in her real life. So always remember that when you're watching these things, that we show people who are on social media, and that just goes in general. We show what we choose to show. We don't show everything. And the times that we do share, sometimes those sharing is for views and to become, some of us become more relatable, more, you know, so for you. I mean, I'm just being honest. So the whole guru thing, especially when it comes to relationships, because I swear to y'all, the majority of people that I hear and considered relationship gurus and people listening to them and acting, yes, you have a story to tell. We all have a story to tell. That doesn't mean that everything else that comes out of their mouth is gospel. You know, I got a story to tell. Things have happened in my life. But that doesn't mean that everything I say is gospel. That doesn't mean that everything that I think is gospel, even though I think it is. It doesn't mean that. And so I think that we need to stop giving these people this much power in order to feel like we have someone to guide us along the way. It is time for some of us to grow up. Yes, take from people what you need, but don't give them so much status that you can't see past your rose-colored glasses to say, wait, maybe that part wasn't right. Maybe I need to look over here for some information. We are not the end-all be-all. I promise you. Most gurus, nah, they ain't that much of a guru. Even the ones who are just food gurus, they're going off of what they like, or how they do things. Everybody has a way. But I really, really want y'all to focus on the lifestyle people and the relationship people. The people who tell you how to be as a person. Beauty fine, food fine, perfume fine, whatever, that is fine. But please don't be no damn stand and lose your damn mind when somebody disagrees with these people. That's another part of this whole guru stand culture. But when it comes to people who put out content like what you need to do in your 40s, how you need to act like this, and things like that, or what makes you mature, or you know, how to find a man, why, I want you to think about those things and take it what you need from it, but don't make them so special that you believe everything that they say. Yeah, some things I say you might agree with, and shit might be right, but everything I say ain't right, y'all. So feel free to disagree with me. I probably won't listen to your ass because I'm that fucking opinionated, and I've got a big ass head and think I know everything. I admit that shit. but with all that being said, I just want y'all to keep your free thinking, because without free thinking, we fall in line with things and agree to things that aren't necessarily correct or right for the collective. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me how to be at 50. Don't tell me how I need to dress. Don't tell me how I need to act. Don't tell me how my makeup should look, because this is what you think I should look like or how I should act. Be as happy as you want to be, and don't let these people undermine the essence of you, because that's the most important part, is the essence of you. And yes, some of those things will vibe with your essence, but don't say, oh, because I agree with this about them, if they said this, I've got to change this about me. No, be you, be the individual, be that being that God made you, and don't let these people change who you are based on their personal opinions on how life and things should be run. Okay, and don't let me either. All right, y'all. To guru or not to guru? Tell me, what do you think?